Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So starting off today's video, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my nail tips. These are just some extra long square tips that I'm gonna be applying with Kai Rose pink nail glue. After all of the nail tips are applied, I am going to take my pink nail cutters and cut them down. I didn't use my magnets to measure anything, I basically just eyeballed them, but of course I make sure they were all the same length off camera, and this is what they're looking like. For the application, I'm going to do an all acrylic application using this color here from Kara Sky, and this is called dark pink. For my base, I wanted it to be like a really like pinkish but also still give like that sheer nude, so that's why I went with this color. And I'm also going to be using their monomer, and the brush I'm using is from Bomb Nails in a size 12, I believe. But I'll try to have everything I use linked down below so you guys can check it out. And this acrylic is really nice to use. As you guys know from all of my other Kara Sky videos, their powders are really nice and buttery. Definitely one of my top 3. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this shade here over all of my nails. I think I'm gonna do like 3 beads per nail. The first bead is right there where I glued the nail down, and I try to make that cover the entire nail as much as I can without flattening the product too much. Then for my second bead, I'm placing it up at the cuticle area, and that is gonna be my cuticle bead and my apex. So I don't blend it all the way down. I try to keep most of that product right up there so it has, you know, that thickness for the apex. And then once I blend that down and make sure the cuticles is nice and snug, I add one more bead towards the tip, and that is just to finish adding some of that structure, because you can see now it looks like there's this one spot at the tip where there's no product. So basically I just try to go and fill that in, and I don't add much, like I said, because I don't want this application to be thick at all. So I do try to keep them thin, but mostly focusing more the product at the apex area, because these nails are going to be long, so you want that strength and structure. But that's basically what I'm going to be doing for all of the nails, and I'm just going to let the rest of this play out. I don't really have anything to talk about, so I'll just make this a little more enjoyable with some background music as always, and then I'll come back once I finish the application. So here we are with all of the nails done. I did go ahead and let them dry, of course. Now we're going to get into the nail filing. As always, I start off with my 80/80 grit nail file, and the specific one I'm using in today's video is from Pana and is always linked down below in my Amazon storefront. The link is always in the description, so definitely check that out if you want some really nice crispy files. I basically start off with the shape of my nails. Like, I like to go on the sides and make sure that the shape is looking nice, and then I'll go over the top of it and just make sure everything is all smoothed out. You can tell when the nail is not even because some parts will be filed and some parts aren't. So if the entire surface of the nail isn't getting filed, that just means you need to file a little bit more to make sure everything is nice and surface level. And then I like to just go on the sides. Sometimes I work around the cuticle with a nail file, but sometimes I just wait. Depending on how the application looks, I feel like if it's more bumpy or if it needs more work, I'll go in with a hand file first. If not, like this application, I think this was a pretty nice application, so I don't focus too much around the cuticle area with a hand file. I just make sure to file like the surface area, and then I'll use an e-file to, of course, seal in the cuticles and do some work underneath it if any product got underneath the nails. But you guys know how all of that works. So once I finish filing, we will be done. I'll cleanse them off and we will be jumping right into the nail art, which I think is the most exciting part of it all. So jumping right into the nail art, I do have a couple gel polishes here, and this design is not one of my own originals. I've seen this design on Pinterest that I'm going to be recreating. I'm going to be taking this pink here from Valentino. I definitely should have gone with a lighter pink. I had no idea this pink was going to be as hot as it was. I mean, I seen it like the swatch at the top, and I seen it when I put it on the nail palette, but once like the entire nail set came together, it was just like, in my opinion, a little bit like too hot pink. Like it gave more of like Barbie pink. I wanted more of like a soft pastel or just something a little bit less vibrant, if that makes sense. But still it came along really nicely, and I love the outcome of this set, so I cannot wait for you guys to see it. But basically I'm just going in with some French tips on my ring finger and my middle finger. So these Frenches aren't going to be just regular French tips. I am going to be adding some of these little loops here inside the smile line area, and this is going to mimic like lace, I guess, like lace or like fabric, or it can be like a tablecloth, or just something that mimics like lace for a picnic or like a blanket or something. I'm not really sure, but it definitely gave the right vibe, so I'm just gonna say lace. This set was definitely more of like an outside summer picnic set, and that's definitely what I was going for and why I liked it so much. So once I finish adding on the loops, I'm gonna wipe the sides down just to make sure that the nails stay in the crispy shape I like. I get a lot of comments on why I do that. The reason I wipe the sides of nails before curing is because I want them to stay like in really nice shape. In this particular video, I did go ahead and like do both of the nails before curing, so while I was doing the other nail, some of the gel might have like flowed down to the sides, and then once I cure it, it's just not, in that pristine shape that I want. So that's just basically helping the shape stay as square as possible so I don't have to go back and file it off. But after I cure those nails, I'm going to be jumping right into my pinky nail, and I'm going to be taking another red shade from Valentino, and I'm going to be placing some of that on my nail tip. I try to do an ombre the best I can. I always try different methods when it comes to ombres because you guys know this isn't my favorite thing to do. It isn't the best thing that I know how to do. So with this technique, I basically just put some of that gel at the tip of my nails, and then I also added some top coat towards like the center of it, like right above it, and that's gonna help me blend it out. As you can see what I'm doing here, if I just put it on like a dry nail, it would have just been like really blotchy in my opinion. So I think the top coat definitely helped me like blend it out a little bit, making sure that it gets a little bit sheer looking. So that's basically how I did it. It wasn't the best ombre, but it still turned out pretty good. So I just went ahead and worked a little bit more off camera from it, and then I went ahead and cured it, and I'm going to be repeating that same process over on my index nail. So that was probably my least favorite thing to do, but this is how the nail set is coming along so far. I did go ahead and set out a lot more products that I'm going to be needing. I do use this a lot, this Crazy Top Thick Gel. I love this product so much. In a lot of my other recent videos, you guys seen me using it quite a lot. Definitely a product worth checking out, especially if you are getting into like the 3D nail art, but you don't want something like too advanced. Also, it's a really good bling holder as well because it is a thicker consistency. It holds charms and blings on very nicely. But before I go on with this product, since it is a non-wipe, I did go ahead and apply my top coat underneath it so I didn't have to double back at the end and try to fill in those little spots with top coat. So I went ahead and cured on my top coat first, and now I'm going to be taking a liner brush, dipping that into this Crazy Top Thick Gel and just doing diagonal lines going down my nail. Once I finish going all the way down in this direction from left to right, I'm going to go in the opposite direction just so it gives like that diamond pattern, and you guys will see the strawberry look start to come to life. Now that I went ahead and cured that, I'm going to jump back over to my ring finger and I'm going to be applying some top coat. And this one is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to apply some top coat first, give that a cure, and then I'm going to be applying a flower charm right there in the center of my French tip. So I don't know what I was thinking, but for some reason I just did them separately. I should have just went ahead and did top coat on this nail as well. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and apply some top coat to this nail as well. Give that a cure. And this one is going to be more charms, but with a fun little twist. So I've seen someone else do this. I can't remember who it was, but if I had to guess, I think it was Vanity Val. Where she did like this Halloween set and she was doing like eyeballs. So this is going to be a ladybug, but I didn't want to like try to sculpt out anything. I probably wouldn't have gotten it like really neat and like perfectly round. So instead I remembered that, and I'm going to be taking one of the bigger pearls that I have from this pearl set, and I placed it on a nail stand, and I'm just going to be adding some red gel polish to it and give that a cure. That way I don't have to sculpt anything out and it is perfectly round for me. So once I finish applying this gel to it, I'm going to go ahead and give that a cure. And before I place it on my nail, I'm also going to be adding some top coat as well because I didn't want like my fingerprints on it. So yeah, I just thought that was just the cutest idea and I had to do it. And I think the ladybug turned out so good. It was definitely one of my favorite things on this nail. Now we got the body of the ladybug on my nail nice and cured. I'm going to be taking this black 4D gel, which I got from Temu a while ago, and I'm going to be using a little bit just to scope out like the head part on the ladybug. I was thinking about using another pearl, but that one would have just been weird because I would have had to turn it sideways and it just wouldn't have worked. I got a little bit of that gel and rolled it out into a ball, and I basically just put it where I want the head to be. And as you can see, I'm just tapping it in place. It wasn't hard to do at all. I just went ahead and just kind of molded on top of it, but also still have it like round. And then once I got the placement to my liking, I went ahead and gave that a cure. And I'm going to be adding some black gel polish to finish off the details for the ladybug, which is just a line going down the center and then a couple dots on both sides. After finishing off the details for my ladybug, I'm going to be adding some more of this diamond gel glue in like a slanted type of direction on the top of the ladybug and also going down towards the tip of my nail. I'm just going to be placing that where I want more charms to go. I did try a couple charms, but some of them didn't end up working. Like I wanted to use this pink one here just because it matched with the other one, but that one was just way too huge, so I ended up going with like the little smaller flowers. I did have like some butterfly charms as well. I just had a lot of stuff that I wanted to try and make it look a little bit more whimsical, but I didn't like how it looked. I felt like the butterfly charm was out of place. It was really big, so I just ended up going with a lot more of those flowers, just going in that direction I wanted. And once I got all of them placed, I went ahead and gave that a cure. Now moving on to the last nail I'm going to be doing on camera. Before I go in with this strawberry nail charm, I'm going to be applying some top coat just because it's a lot easier that way. Once I get that cured, I'm going to be placing the strawberry charm right in the center. And this charm set is also from Temu. I'll try to link it down below. A lot of the things I get from Temu is like either discontinued or the link doesn't work anymore, so it's really difficult trying to link things from Temu, but I will try my hardest if I can find it again. But I do love this little set here of charms. It has a lot of little fruit and snacks and stuff like that. It's so cute. But once I place that charm right there in the center, get it cured, I'm going to be taking the green shade of this 4D gel and I'm going to be sculpting out some little vines. And I think this was my favorite nail of all of them. Basically, I'm just taking a little bit, rolling it out into a line. I wanted to do it a little bit thinner, but for some reason, every time I do this, I feel like once I roll it out, it's good enough. But once I place it on the nail, it doesn't look as small as I wanted it to be. So I'll definitely keep that in mind for next time. But I'm basically just rolling this out until I'm satisfied with it. Once I'm satisfied, I'll go ahead and place it on my nail and just doing like a little swirl vine type of design, and you'll see it as I'm doing it here. After I'm done placing it and I like the way it curves and I like the placement of it, I will go ahead and give that a cure. This gel kind of feels more of like Play-Doh, like it's not sticky at all. Like it literally feels like Play-Doh, so it's a lot easier to use in my opinion. It kind of gives that clay texture to it. But sometimes if it is hard to use this type of gel, it is recommended to use a little bit of alcohol. And I did end up using a little bit like on the side piece. I tried to like make it come to a point. It wasn't really laying down on my nail. It was kind of hard to manage. So with that silicone tool, I just dipped it into a little bit of alcohol and it was a lot easier to work with. So I definitely recommend this also if you are into like the 3D nail art, or if you want to just use it for arts and crafts, whatever the case may be. It's definitely a great product to use. But yeah, like I said, once I finish, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a cure. And for my other strawberry nail, I'm gonna take more of this gel and place it at the top, and this is gonna be like the little leaf at the top of a strawberry. And also you can see here where it's not really sticking, I went ahead and dipped that brush into some alcohol, and it's a lot easier. It's staying down to my nail. It's just a lot easier to manage. So yeah, this was also a very interesting nail. The silicone tool definitely came in handy to put like the little splits into the nail, because honestly I had no idea how I was gonna do it, but once I was putting it on the nail, it definitely like made a lot more sense to just do it that way. Now that I got that cured, I'm going to go back in with some yellow gel polish to finish off my strawberry nail. I'm going to be mixing this really light yellow with just a little bit of white because I wanted it to be a little bit more like pastel, just a little less vibrant. And I'm going to be putting a little line in between all of the 3D lines, and this is going to be the seeds on the strawberry. And I love how this nail is turning out. Like, I just love that strawberry look so much. Every time I see it on like my For You page, I'm always in awe. I like all of them because they're just so freaking adorable. But now that I got that cured, to finish this off, I'm going to be adding some darker green gel polish to the 4D green gel, because that shade was entirely way too light. I didn't like how bright it was, and since it was like the only green shade I did, it just made sense to go in with green and just color over it. So basically I'm just going to be adding on this darker green to the green leaf for the strawberries and also the vines. And then after this, we're technically done. I did have to add some top coat to like the ladybug because I wanted to brighten that up a little bit. I did do some finishing touches off camera. I'm gonna do my thumb completely off camera, but of course once I finish adding this green on here, I'm gonna cure it and then I'll show you. But that's pretty much it. So once I finish, I will be back to show you guys what the finished set looks like. So I'm just finishing this setup by adding some cuticle oil to re-nourish my cuticles. So once I rub that in, this is how the finished set looks. And I'm just so in love with this set. I love it so much. My favorite two nails were definitely my index and my pinky. I just really love the look of the strawberries. I kind of wish I went more with strawberries instead of adding like the bigger flower. But I don't know, it still looks very, very cute. I still like it, but nothing is gonna beat the pinky and the index nail. Like, those are just to die for, honestly. So yeah, I really love how this set turned out. It was really, really fun to create. Let me know which one is your favorite nails down below in the comments, and let me know what you thought about today's set overall. I'll try my best to leave everything I used down below in the description box, so make sure that you check that out before leaving today's video. And yeah, just let me know what you thought about today's set, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.